When should we start to discipline our children? At what age?
You don't have a starting point. Sometimes when we describe a habit that we practice and you try to show that it is an old habit, you say, I have been doing this since I don't remember when. You don't have a gunshot to start, because if you mean to start, it means that you are not doing it spontaneously.
It's
because you will be defeating your purpose. I'm not doing this because this is good for them. It is good for me too.
Yes.
I will go back to the point of disciplining. And the word disciplining implies punishment, because we say discipline. You have disciplinary court and so on. Discipline.
We often think about it in a negative sense.
Rather, yes. But we can use these disciplining techniques to show how we think of things. I will give you an example. I will use a saying which is generally not liked by people who would like a straightforward way of thinking. But I will try to make use of it. I remember my youngest child. We were driving. There was a jam, and he was very little, and he found people going into the wrong way, the wrong direction, the opposite direction. And he said to me in English, "Dad, if you can't beat them, join them." This is not one of my principles until I reconsidered. It is not a question of joining them, believing in what they do. No, I'm using it rather lightly. As Dr. Salah said, we are not familiar with what they do with computers. Let us familiarize ourselves with this, and let us give them the opportunity to be our teachers. By allowing them to be our teachers, we are now changing the rules of the game. I'm giving you. And as they teach us, I try to monitor what they do. You see?
So basically, we act like spies. We get the information from them and we use it against them.
Yes, and they like it.
Yeah.
They like it. People like to show others what they cannot see. And we benefit from this. We do learn not only about computers and what they do with them, but we learn about our children, and we learn about their world. Let me go back to the idea of
discipline.
Discipline. You can use certain methods to build, to construct this. I'm using the word rather metaphorically, this human being. And I remember, of course, I'm all the time using my experience. I'm a human being. I use my own experiences. And I should admit it. You cannot talk about humanity in general. You need to talk about certain people at certain times in certain places. So I'm using my own experience because this is the thing I'm living. I remember that my regular disciplinary method with my first child and other children, but with my first child in particular, because the first child is all the time the first thing.
He's the test case.
Yes. I would say, I will not forgive you because if he did anything that I didn't like, until you memorize surah, this surah. I remember the first time when my first child, Ahmad, did something that I didn't like. And I said, I'm not going to talk to you until you finish Surah Al-Baqarah. Now, what happened? Now, Surah Al-Baqarah became his saving, his life safe.
But also, on another hand, someone can think it became a burden on him. Because
Now you
well,
have two burdens.
because you're kind of associating, like the Quran with pain.
Let me tell you. Now, if I agree with you, I do not. I'm not with
I'm
you.
just
I mean
giving-
the
I'm
idea.
just giving you,
yes,
a thought that
yes,
people
yes.
are saying.
You have two things to compare. Either your dad would stay angry, I wouldn't talk to you, would not be pleased with you, or you do this. I think once he or she sees in this something of rescue, I think it would be in the positive way, not in the negative way. And something else, again, the first block that you built,
Yeah.
credibility.
Basically, what you're saying is that it will be interpreted by the child as either something positive or negative based on the previous investment that
That's
you have
it.
made in that relationship,
Yes.
in building a relationship with your child.
That's it. Because, again, a sentence takes or gives its meaning in a context. The reader, the person, imposes meaning on what he reads, whether what he reads or what she reads is a text or a situation. You see? And something else, he cannot hate something which has already infiltrated. And by the way, when I asked my child to do this, I knew that he already memorized it. I pretended that he didn't. I pretended that I forgot that he already
Memorize it.
memorized it. So it was not much of a punishment, actually. It didn't take him more than a few hours to revise. And when he came into my study and said, I'm ready now, I think he loved it. That was the easiest way, you see?